Scary and a sleep over work. Get your work together for you look another girl. You're not ready for this yet. We all walk like a champion. Walk like a champion. What a piece of money, girl. Tell me where you get it from. Knock on your entrance. Ram pa pa pam pam. Can't let me in me have the thing where you are waiting for. Walk like a champion. Talk like a champion. What a piece of money, girl. How will you get it from? Knock on your entrance. Ram pa pa pam pam.
Thank you. Who was that? Is that Pals? Pals, I see you. I'm just trying to send it out and post it to my story. Thank you for joining on in early, Pals. I see you. Dr. Michelle Henry, I see you. Welcome on in. Thank you for joining on in early. I'm just trying to send it out and get everything going. Dr. Henry, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm just sending it out and posting it to my story.
Come here with your galley trend, just ease up, breeze up.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to set it up. I don't know if I forgot to set it up and update the goal. Thank you everybody for joining on in. Welcome on in. We're grabbing our daily heartbeat. We're liking the live. Once we hit 5K likes, you know we're gonna go ahead and get started. Sportscritcutie, I see you. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Enjoy the tunes. Is it on my story? Did I post it? Just a minute, y'all. Just bear with me. Good evening, blessed believer. I see you. Yo, you see when you go live and you're trying to send it out, it's like my hand is getting tired. Y'all just do it for me. Welcome on in, repost, send it out, do it. Just help me out, y'all. I don't even know what, like, come on. So. Where's my cousin? Hold on. Welcome on in, y'all. Welcome on in. I'm just trying to Okay. Dr. Henry, I see you. Thank you so much for those popular votes. I see you. So as we're coming on in, we're grabbing our daily heartbeat. We're liking the live. We already know what time it is. Once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for the popular votes. How do I Thank you so much for the gifts. I see you. Table for Two podcast. I see you. What's going on? Lavon, I see you. Greetings. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I'm just scrolling up. Mandy, welcome on in. Love you too. Table for Two. I don't know if you're still in here. Welcome on in, everybody. Okay, Sportscritcutie, I see you. You said you walk into a quieter space. I see you. Yes, all my office hours, I always have a variety of music. I try to like show y'all relatability and that I like, you know, show you guys part of my culture. Blessed believer, I see you liking the live. Welcome on in. Once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome on in. How's everybody doing? Oh Lord. Okay, thank you for dropping those flags. I see you, Dr. Henry. Marcia, welcome on in. I see you, Dr. Henry, with the stickers. Pals, I see you liking the live. Okay, Pals, how are you doing? Checking in with you. Marcia, how are you doing? Checking in with you. As you know, once we hit 5K likes, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I see you guys with the stickers. Thank you so much. Janae here? Okay, there she is. Oh, we got 5K. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Welcome on in. Janae, I see you. I just asked for you where you was and you jumped on in here. Welcome on in, everybody. Yes, Marcia, I got a haircut today. Welcome on in. I'm okay. Busy. My day was busy. Today was an errands day for me. My day was busy, but welcome on in, everybody. So before I get started, Janae, welcome on in. I see you. Before I get started, just moderators and just everybody in the chat. Today, we're going to be talking about some touchy subjects. So please, I'm just ahead of time. Just start with the F1s. That's all I'm going to say. A couple of the topics I want to discuss. I'm not going to, I got to say the words. You know, if we're going to continue bringing awareness, I just have to say the words. Once I start saying the words, you guys will already know what to do and just start dropping some F1s in the chat. Janae, I thought... Okay, sorry about that. I just had to edit something real quick. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. So before I get started, we're just going to do F1 in the chat as I am going through my topics, okay? As we're discussing what we're going to discuss, just F1 in the chat because I'm not going to filter what I want to say. I need to say it how I want to say it, okay? Sportscritcutie, I see you. Janae, I see you. Janae, it was just updated. Mandy, I see you liking the live. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome on in. Welcome to Office Hours with Dr. Johnson. Today, we're going to discuss an important trending topic in healthcare, okay? And what is that important trending topic in healthcare? The rise of fentanyl overdose. Today, we're going to be briefly discussing, I'm just going to share some quick facts. You guys know the trending topics, when we do the trending topics in healthcare and Office Hours with Dr. Johnson, I don't stay on them long. We breeze right through them, but we're just continuously bringing awareness and just sharing with you all what is going on in the community, in our community, right? So, the trending topic, the rise of fentanyl. Yeah, like I repeated it again, pals, where you at? The rise of fentanyl overdoses, okay? Please just drop some F1s in the chat. Before we get into that, I want to share with you all what is fentanyl. You guys know I'm always going to provide an example. I'm always going to, you see? And when I was sending out the message earlier on, about the fentanyl overdose, it asked me in our message, are you okay? Do you need services? Do you need help? Okay, it won't let you pin it? Okay, I'm just going to continue talking about it. What is pharmaceutical fentanyl? Okay, this is a legal FDA approved drug prescribed by doctors to treat severe pain, particularly after surgery or for late stage cancer. Straight to the point. We know what fentanyl is, right? This is a legal FDA approved drug prescribed by doctors to treat severe pain, particularly after surgery or late stage cancer. Because oftentimes we know cancer patients, when it can't be treated, they're in a lot of pain. Sometimes they're giving morphine, sometimes they're giving prescribed fentanyl, okay? However, there's a rise because fentanyl is an opioid, okay? Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid. You guys know I have my other screen here, so I'm just bringing you guys real facts and bringing you guys real information, okay? Dr. Lewis, I see you. Welcome on in. We are discussing the trending topic in healthcare, the rise of overdose fentanyl, okay? Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid. It's available legally as a prescription medication and illegally through illicit drug markets. I'm sharing these specific facts for specific reasons, okay? Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid available legally as a prescription medication and illegally through illicit drug markets. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I provide you guys some brief background information. I provide you guys a key term of what is pharmaceutical fentanyl, okay? I just want to share with you guys some facts. Some facts about fentanyl. The current opioid crisis has progressed through various stages, through various waves, throughout various different generations. If the first wave was back in the 90s, 1990 to be exact, and the crisis began with a sharp increase in the prescription of opioid pain relievers like Oxycontin. The second wave was in the 2010s, Okay, as regulations tightened on prescription opioids, many users turned to cheaper and more accessible illicit heroin. Y'all just continue dropping them F1 chats because the bombs I'm dropping today, there goes another one. Y'all just continue, light up my chat with the F1s, please. The third wave was around 2013. Illicitly manufactured synthetic opioids, primarily fentanyl, entered the drug supply. Fentanyl's high potency and low production costs made it attractive to drug cartels. Continue dropping the F1s in the chat. Now, as more recently, the fourth wave, wave 4, started from 2015 to present. Now, even as of the past 2 to 3 years, it has even skyrocketed, okay? There are multiple overdoses as it pertains to fentanyl. I see you guys with the stickers. I see you guys with the F1s. Wave 4, researchers have noted a fourth wave marked by the increasing co-use of fentanyl and stimulants like methamphetamine and cocaine. Okay? This polysubstance use has become a dominant factor in the overdose crisis. You all, there's an overdose crisis as it relates to fentanyl. It's a rising opioid crisis as it relates to fentanyl. Okay? They talking about other stuff about Tylenol and autism, but we actually have a rising opioid crisis as it relates to fentanyl and multiple people overdosing from fentanyl, either lacing it with cocaine, lacing it with other stuff. Nini Legacy, welcome on in. We're just briefly going over my trending topic in healthcare, which is the rise of overdose of fentanyl. I'm going to say it. And my chat is supporting me, and they're dropping the stickers and they're dropping the F1s. I see you with the heart me. I see you. I just wanted to briefly share that with you all. The trending topic in healthcare, an actual trending topic that we should be talking about. We shouldn't be talking about Tylenol and autism because there's no linkage. What we should be talking about is the rise of overdoses, the crisis, the opioid crisis as it relates to the pharmaceutical drug fentanyl. F1 in the chat, F1 in the chat. Let's lighten it up. I'm not going to send this topic too long for obvious reasons. I see you guys in the chat. Lighten it up. Thank you so much for your support. We are grabbing our daily heart meat. We are supporting the goal, and we are also reposting. Brittany, I see you. Welcome on in. We just briefly discussed my trending topic in healthcare, which was the opioid crisis pertaining to fentanyl. I see you, Miss Nini, with the popular votes, okay? I'm going to say it because that's an issue. We should not be discussing Tylenol and autism. We need to be discussing the rising opioid crisis as it relates to fentanyl. That's what we need to be worried about. I see you in the chat. Let's lighten it up. Let me get my interview book. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I see you guys all in here. That should be Nini. Don't get me riled up, Nini. That is what we should be talking about. I'm going to repeat it one more time. We talked about that in school. Good. Because you were in nursing school, right? I think, yeah. We should not be talking about any linkage to Tylenol and autism because there's none. Let's just nip that in the butt. There's none. What we need to be talking about is the rising opioid crisis as it relates to pharmaceutical fentanyl and it being laced in cocaine, laced in heroin, laced in weed. Because, it could just be, I did research, it could be salt droplets. Just a couple salt droplets can take you straight out. I hope you guys know that. A couple salt droplets can take you straight out. So today's trending topic in healthcare was the opioid crisis as it relates to what? Pharmaceutical fentanyl. Let's switch gears. Let's get more positive. Definitely a major problem. These doctors be prescribing too much medication, okay? That's why, Brittany, make sure you come to my holistic approach masterclass next month, October 15th, because we're going to be talking about some other ways and strategies and best practices in healthcare to treat illnesses or diseases holistically. Continuously showing y'all how there's different routes to everything. Thank you so much for the F1s in the chat, So let's lighten things up. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting my goal. Thank you, everybody, for getting me to 11,000 likes. I see you all. Let's lighten things up. We're going to lighten things up, okay? I'm bringing up my guest. Let me make sure my guest is still here before I start bringing her up. Okay, I'm bringing up my guest now. We're going to lighten things up. As you all know, my guest Each guest I bring up is a subject matter expert in their respective fields. They have some gems to drop. I found them interesting, so if I found them interesting, I know my community will find them interesting too. So that's the point of this segment. We're gonna switch segments, go on into our interview. Let me bring up my guest. Pals, I see you. Thank you so much. Okay, Sports Crit Cutie, I see you. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you and I can hear you, friend. Thank you
Perfect.
for
Thank you.
having me.
No problem. And guess what? I love to see you on the go. You on the go, and you are doing this interview. You on the go. So I already see what vibe this interview gonna be on. I love it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I was on campus in my
Hmm.
office and I made sure I came to sit in the car with you. So I'm not driving everybody. I made sure I'm in the parking lot still. I have my eyes on you and we're ready to
Perfect.
talk. So
Thank you. Thank you for
really,
sharing
really
that.
happy
'Cause
to be here.
TikTok is
Yeah.
sensitive. She is not driving. Okay. Thank you
I'm
for
not
sharing.
driving. I'm not
Not
driving. No, I
driving.
pulled. See the background. Nothing's moving. I'm in the
Right.
parking lot on campus still,
Perfect. Perfect.
and I'm not going anywhere.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, Dr. G, thank you so much for taking the time to step into office hours with Dr. Johnson. A couple of
Sure.
my supporters have reached out to me, either sent me your profile and was like, "Hey, Dr. Johnson, should be great for you to interview." So we've spoke
Yeah.
through messages for a while. We've been connected
Yeah.
as friends for a while, but we never got to
Yeah.
actually formally meet. So just thank you so much for taking the time, your busy schedule, and stepping into my community and sharing your gems and sharing your journey overall. Okay, so
Sure.
how we get started. I like to just these interviews are for my interviewee, for us to get to know you, get to know your journey, and you can drop any gems along the way.
Okay.
So to get us started, can you share your educational and your professional background? Obviously,
Sure.
this is social media, so we don't share whatever names we don't feel comfortable sharing with you on social media. So you can just share them with context.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I appreciate that, especially the work that I do. I have
Okay.
to keep it separate.
Right.
But my educational background is very fun. It's very eclectic and intersectional in itself. So my
Mhm.
background is I'm an assistant professor of race, sports, and social justice. And so I that position is almost like they curated it for me, Doc,
Okay.
because what it is the intersection, just like that, race, sport, and social justice. But I'm not a kinesiologist. I'm more of a social scientist. My background is in the social and behavioral sciences. I went to a community college. So out here in Southern California, there are some really great community colleges.
Hmm.
And even deciding to go to a community college or a 2 year, I think was resistance in itself. Because there was such beauty in the community college, right?
Right.
So I went there, and I'm proud to say I went to Mount San Antonio College. Dope, great institution, and then transferred. I'm a former basketball player, former coach,
Okay.
and so in that time I received my BA in psychology. But during that time at the institution I was at, I worked in the athletic department. And when I tell you, Doc, some of the best professors, some of the best staff and faculty that really mentored me, and that's what put me on my trajectory to figure out ways to continue to incorporate sports in my life. Like I said, I played basketball and I injured myself. I tore my knee, and so then it's that shift of what now? And
Mm.
because I loved psychology, because I loved sports, the transition was difficult, but
Okay.
I had sports psychology that was in the horizon.
Yeah.
And so I transferred from the 2 year, and that's where I worked in the community, in the athletic department. When I tell you, Doc, I'm doing the PA,
Hmm.
stats for baseball, writing the articles. Our boss really threw us in the fire in the best way. And
Wow.
so that's what gave me that hope that I can still incorporate sports and psychology. I'm not a ball player anymore, but how
Mm.
can I still stay in the field? And I had those transferable skills, right? And I still work with my athletes when they transition out, whether if it's willingly or not. Those transferable skills. So I graduated with my BA, and I started to coach basketball. And I
Hmm.
loved it, obviously, right? I loved it. But then there was something where I wore like a cross, right? And it was, it wasn't like silver or gold or anything, but it was wearable, and it broke. I was working out or something and it broke. And the girls were like, "Hey coach, where's your cross?" And I said, "Oh, it's more than just the X's and O's, it's more than just the plays." And so that's what really had me thinking, if I can find a way to be able to mentor larger groups of kids, particularly young women, because it's not always about basketball. They're wanting to talk to you about life, right? So I went to get my master's degree in counseling and student services, and so that's where I was at first being able to work in higher education. Doc, my goal was that first master's was to be an athletic director. But that's a job that everybody loves, right? And you either go on to glory or you retire. And so when I graduated with my first master's in 2010, there really wasn't much opportunity in that regard. And so I'm telling you, you got to go to different conferences, symposiums. So I went to a sports symposium and was just looking and trying to just, get information about what other career paths are. And this athletic director at this small university wanted me to lead the women's basketball program. But Doc, I said they didn't have no money. I knew that. But I said I would love to teach. And so in 2010, that's where I got my first teaching gig. And I remember at the time my mom was still with us, and she was a teacher for 37 years in the Los Angeles Unified School District. And I'm like, Mom, how do you do it? And so that's where I got the bug back in 2010. But there is a thing, we know, Doc, you've got to have a few letters behind your name to somehow, legitimize who you are. But I knew I was dope back then, but I also knew what the game was. And so I was adjuncting, doing part-time teaching at different places. And then I said, you know what? I want to be able to reach the cradle to the grave. And so I received my second master's, and that's where the counseling K through 12. So I'm a credential counselor. I can counsel the babies to the old folks. And that's where I had a great career in student affairs, and multicultural services, working in athletics, career, housing. But at the end of the day, I would work these long student affairs gigs, but be so juiced to adjunct. And I'm driving to the universities, I'm driving because they were at other schools that I was teaching. And I'd be dog tired there, but ready to go in the classroom. And so that's at that intersection of, I love what I do, but as we know, there are particular letters that we have to have behind our name in order to get us in all these doors. And so I said to myself, because I'd applied to different adjuncting gigs, and I'd said to myself, I don't ever want to be in a situation where they're like, Jasmine, we really love you, but, and that's what it was, right? It was, hey, Jasmine, we really love you, but you don't have that doctorate yet. And so I started a doctoral program, and I always knew I wanted to work or do my dissertation with athletes somehow, but wasn't quite sure where that would go. And then I was in my doctoral program in 2015. I started the same weekend that Sandra Bland was murdered. And so I thought to myself, Sandra Bland was me. She was a Black woman in higher education. She was driving to her new gig. She was excited. And I remember driving saying, how dare I start this program and not try to make a difference? How dare I not represent Sandra and all those that didn't have the opportunity to take their life to the furthest? And so that was heavy on my heart day one. And I graduated 2019 with my PhD in higher education. And my dissertation, that's what started it off, is I centered the lived experiences of Black college athlete activists in times of racial and social injustice. But Doc, that could have been any time, right? But it was right during the time, to give context, is when Black Lives Matter started to just flourish, right? And the continuous unfortunate lynchings of Black bodies. But I'm in this space of learning and rage and fire and passion, and it could have gone any way, right? I could have burned out, or really could have it could have gone bad, right? When you have all this rage and you're just trying to figure out where your voice can lay. And so that is where 2019, right, I graduated. I created something called the ball model, which is the Black Athlete Activist Leadership Model. And so that was the first framework from the experiences of working with Black student athletes that identify as activists, because everyone doesn't. And so that was from my dissertation. So that's kind of quickly of school. I could talk, but though that was my quick kind of path without name dropping all of the institutions, but a beautiful intersection of counseling, of psychology, sports psych, and then just this activism and being a former athlete. That's kind of the blend of who I am. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that introduction. And once again, do you guys see why I bring these certain people up? Subject matter experts. I only interview subject matter experts. Okay. Not saying that not everybody has something to share, but it's important when you connect with subject matter experts to share their journey and share their lived experiences. Okay. So thank you, Dr. G, for sharing your journey.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. As you know, I did my homework. Okay. I studied your paper.
I know you do. Yes.
Okay. So, activist, author, professor, and multiple other titles, right? What do you enjoy doing the most?
Am I allowed to curse here?
I don't know. I've already been dropping bombs earlier on.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble. Well,
right.
I just like shaking. I like shaking shit up, my friend.
Okay.
And so what's beautiful right now is that everything's aligning right now. Where with the birth of Sportscrit, with this pedagogy, it's in the classroom. It's in the Sportscrit Lab podcast, right? I'm thinking about it as a wife and a partner, and now a mama, right? With my students, my kids may or may not, engage in sports. They just now started, so it's just like this lens of disrupting. It's everywhere, and then tying it all together. It's honoring all of those activist ancestors, either we shared DNA or not, before me. So I love, honestly, I've got 2 toddlers, so I'd be tired most of the time. But when I get in that classroom teaching, I would have to say that's like 1A. But I just love it. I love when the light bulb, I can literally see the light bulb, go off on students, and they're like, whoa, or I'm sharing a new concept, right, with the Sportscrit lens, and then they'll do a reflection or something, and music to my ears when they say, I'd never heard of that, or I'd never seen it that way. So that's my jam in the classroom, and this is my heaviest load this fall. So it really shows that like I'm aligned, and God has me. We about to go, baby. So I would say teaching, because it's every semester, every class is different, and it's an opportunity to like cultivate, some agitators. So I say teaching, really. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to jump right into it, okay? You discussed your journey on becoming a professor and working within higher ed, okay?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's interested in becoming a professor? Let's say they've been working a 9 to 5, they've been working in corporate America, and they have a calling for higher ed. What advice would you give that said person who's interested in making that transition?
Let me tell you something, Doc. We didn't touch base on these questions, but what you asked me is beautiful, and I'll tell you why. I have just birthed something called Black Faculty Forward.
Okay.
And so I say that because I'm on the executive board of our campus's Black Faculty and Staff Association. And first semester, so, I'm just kind of learning the lay of the land, being on leadership. And I'm the faculty at large, like representative. Now, I would have been able to represent any piece that they wanted me to, but there's literally not enough Black faculty on campus, even if they wanted to be a part of leadership, right? And so my goal is to, one, reach out and see if I can find as many Black faculty on campus, and to provide them support. And so once I kind of threw that out there with the e-board, there were so many of our colleagues that were staff, right? But either have doctorates or want to teach and but it's all about that door. So I've created it's not just my institution, because that's where sometimes when we allow it to lay in the institution, they can have control of it. So stay tuned. I'm doing something called, it's a mentoring program, Black Faculty Forward. And I've got loved ones from all across the US of A, right, and globally, that are in spaces where they can open doors, right? And so those open doors for me, if folks are stateside or where I am, I have 4 classes. So it's about that teaching portfolio. It's
Mm-hmm.
about getting in classroom, if it's workshops, what have you. So that's a door we're opening both in person and virtually.
Right.
And so getting out there, hey, can I do a workshop? And sometimes it's like the way that social media is and technology, you can host your own webinar, right?
Right.
And that's teaching. So just jumping in, and if there's a particular topic or issue or even a population of interest, see
Mm-hmm.
how you can continue either to do research and learn, but step into that positionality of you being the expert or
Right.
emerging expert. I would say one. Then two, mentorship is so important.
It
I
is.
just applied. I just went up for tenure and promotion,
Right.
and so I can breathe now. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
things were a little hectic last week. So I appreciate
Right.
you,
Right.
us being able to be here. But that mentorship piece was a game changer for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to create a pathway where we can move Black faculty forward,
Mm.
for faculty that are marginalized, what have you. But the numbers, especially in the United States and California, Black faculty, we're gone. So that mentorship part, please, folks, leave me a DM because we're building it now.
Right.
And so if there's folks that are interested, so it's mentorship, and then even like, what's your pedagogy? Now
Right.
that's a word that I was like, I'm not using that. That's too fancy, whatever. I said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm writing a book about it, aka your teaching philosophy. So these are
Mm-hmm.
things that I never really had to think about until full time, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so I would say find ways to share your expertise or present in topics that you're passionate about, right? Whether if
Mm-hmm.
it's doing it rogue, you know what I mean, online, however, it's just about being comfortable in your skin.
Right.
Mentorship, and reaching out, like when it comes to mentorship, it's CVs, it's whatnot. So these are all the things that we're literally cooking up. Before I came to my institution that I'm at now, I oversaw the faculty adjunct hiring and
Mm-hmm.
mentoring. So I'm taking some of that into the program. And honestly, Doc, before I left, I made sure I got as many Black and brown folks on as I could.
Right.
Because why, right? And so one of the numbers are staggering. And so, how can your existence be resistance, right? So, those are kind of the 4 and 5 things that we're actually going to be doing in the
Mm-hmm.
mentoring. So, we'll probably do some TikTok lives or whatnot, but I think that it's possible. And I
I
think
love
that the
that.
world, particularly teaching and academia, has mad gatekeeping, but we're just going to break that. We're going to bust that shit open and
I
provide
love that.
opportunity.
I
So,
love that.
yeah, that's good advice. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I'm definitely interested, so definitely keep in touch with me and share
Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
resource you need. If you need another subject matter expert, please feel free to
That'd be
reach out to
great.
me. Okay?
That'd be great.
I
See, I
want
love it. That's why it's so good to do these types of things. You
to
never know
connect.
who you're going to connect with. Yep.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I wanna send a topic of higher education, right? But I want to touch on your side of being on student services and counseling, okay?
Yeah.
I get a lot of messages, or there's a lot of people on here who've connected with me on
Yeah.
wanting to go back to school, but kind of
Mm.
apprehensive because they've been out of school for, let's say, 5, 10, 12
Yeah.
years because of
Yeah.
life. That's all right. Life happens, okay? Always going to be an advocate for higher education. Thank you
Oh,
for the
yeah.
heart. I'm always going to
Oh,
be an
yeah.
advocate for getting those certifications, get that education. There's never too, when it comes to education, it's never too
Never,
late, right?
never too
So
late. Never too late.
with your subject matter expertise in student counseling and I would say like career services for students,
Yeah.
what advice would you give those who are interested in going back to school but either apprehensive or maybe they're
Yeah.
being their own worst enemy? What advice would you
Yeah.
give a person?
Yeah, that's real, for folks that are feeling like they're fish out of water.
Right.
That's that one thing I did when I was doing either career counseling or, I mean, I still do nieces and nephews and loved ones, but I actually really love non-traditional students. I guess
Okay.
that's the box they would
Right.
be in,
Right.
because the amount of lived experience.
Right.
So anytime I have either a grad student or an undergrad that may not fall into the box of traditional, those are some really common kind of concerns or
Mm-hmm.
apprehensions, and those are all normal. So the first thing I do is make sure like I'm validating them and like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
what you're feeling is normal. The cool thing about higher ed in many campuses is now they have like different resource centers, particularly for either transfer students,
Okay.
or even that falls outside the box of traditional student. Where I
Right.
started to get my teaching experience at the bigger university, there was a program called Kappa. And so
Mm-hmm.
essentially that was a degree program, same courses, but it was
Mm-hmm.
specifically for learners 25 and up.
Okay.
So if there, I would say search for schools, universities, community colleges, wherever you want to go that have specialized programs
Okay.
for students that are returning back to school, transfer students, um, EOPS, extended opportunities, right? Now, here's the thing. All of these opportunities and resources have been around forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
activism, ethnic studies, that was at the forefront of it to create these type of opportunities in the 60s. We know
Okay.
what's happening with the federal government and the ways in which they are actively and intentionally trying to move these types of programs. So research those if they're going to be available, like
Mm-hmm.
EOPS. So that's, I know that's a stateside thing. I'm sure there may be programs that are
Mm-hmm.
similar to help diverse student populations.
Right.
So I would say any sort of programs, whether if it's funding or just support, is key,
Right.
because you feel like fish out of water. In the event that that person is also first generation student,
Mm-hmm.
that they can feel even more fish out of water, right?
Right.
However, one thing that I'm really appreciative that amongst in the midst of all of this change with higher ed, they
Mm-hmm.
don't seem to be touching first generation programs per se, right?
They don't,
So then
which
they,
is interesting. Yeah.
as long as it doesn't have a particular identity connected to
Okay.
those first gen programs,
Mm-hmm.
they're last in the chopping block. I know
Mm-hmm.
that because I teach a first generation, first year experience class, and it's specifically for a particular group of scholars, and we're not sure what will come of that.
Okay.
Right. So I would say look for different programs, different supports that are on campus to make them feel seen. At my campus, we have a parenting student ally community, and I got trained to be a parent student ally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole, group of students that are parents, right?
Right.
And there is a very specific understanding of having going back to school or even just going straight right from high school, but having a couple little ones, the game is different. So those types of programs, check that out, but also mentorship, right? And of course, I'm on here now. We're connected. Please feel
Mm-hmm.
free to DM me and things along those lines. I think ultimately I want to normalize their experience. I want to normalize their experience, and that it's never too late. It's
Right.
never, 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 never too late. It's just
Never.
about finding the institutional fit for you.
Right. I
That's the
love
key.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing that. Welcome
You're
on
welcome.
in. For all of you guys who are in here, welcome on in. I'm just interviewing a subject matter expert. You already know what time it is, okay, y'all? So I'm going to continue jumping on in. Back in February, Dr. G was a part of Hillman Talk, okay?
Yeah.
Activism 101, that's what you taught.
Oh,
Can
yes.
we get into what was that? The intro
Oh,
to
yeah.
the activism growth model, critical race theory in sports.
Yeah.
I do my
You,
homework.
you
What
see
was
me
that about?
smiling. You see me smiling up in here, Doc. Wow, my heart is just okay. So that's an activism in itself. Hillman
Mm-hmm.
Talk was activism in itself. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
honored to be one of the first waves of faculty to teach that, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
know what was going on in January. Matter of fact, Hillman Talk was birthed on the same day as the presidential inauguration. And so
Okay.
just the existence, you know what I mean? Just the
Right.
existence. And so I just felt so honored to be a part of this open access, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what ethnic studies is about. This is what community building is about. So many
Right.
students from so many different walks of life were able to learn. That's the biggest barrier in education is access. And
Mm-hmm.
so to be a part of this global digital learning experience, oh my God, like I was just so honored. So I got my Helmet Talk hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always indebted to just that experience because
Okay.
honestly, Doc, I don't want my kids or grandkids to say, Granny or Mama, what was you doing back in
Right.
2024? They don't have to worry about that with me.
Right.
And so that's something that is always at the forefront. So my class, Activism 101,
Mm-hmm.
it was open where, hey, faculty, send your information. What would you like to teach? It was a no-brainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my first book, Love is at the Root of the Resistance, Strategies of Activism, Advocacy, and Liberation, that was written during the pandemic.
Okay.
So I was pregnant with my little boy. right?
Mm-hmm.
Found out I was pregnant on March 10th of 2020. Pretty slow, nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
World shut down 3 days later. So there was a very specific experience. I can't really put my finger on it. Being a Black woman, being pregnant with a little Black boy, right? And everything stopped. The world stopped. I call this crash of consciousness, right? Because of COVID and the quarantine. People with privilege that don't have to, they have the privilege to look away of what's going on to marginalized groups. That was no longer an option, because how do we escape? We on our phone, and we were all at the house. And so folks that have the privilege of not turning away, everybody saw what's happening. So
Right.
I'm getting calls and texts, Dr. G, sis, Jazz, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to microaggress you. Teach me. And there's some, as we know, called racial battle fatigue. And my job during the pandemic, Doc, was to incubate and birth this free Black life.
Right.
And so I found myself just exhausted having these conversations. And so I would post things on social media, but then I decided to just write. Right. And so going back on my experience as a scholar activist, I had a group of girlfriends. It was 7 of us. We were women of color in this doctoral program. So that was a very specific experience.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the cutting room floor of my dissertation, and the year from when I graduated before COVID, still working with student athlete activists. And
Okay.
so the question that I posed was, what is advice that you can give folks looking and trying to find their calling and their way in activism? Everyone's not called to be at the protest, right? Everyone's not. There's so many different beautiful spaces for us to be called. It's just that, where the hell do you find them, right?
Right.
So I created something called the activism growth model, birthed from the lived experiences of family activists, student activists, faculty, students, all that, of their experience of what was some of the advice that they would have wished they would have gotten, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
now as they're trying to retweak and retool that fire. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be pregnant in the pandemic and surrounded by, I mean, I had to change my route quite a few times, Doc, because there were hella Trump flags. And I'm pregnant, so I can't get away, real fast. So these are the things that we are dealing with during the pandemic. And so my love letter to the folks was the book. Love is at the root of resistance. And I created the activism growth model, and that are 7 different peers or tiers, and a guide to finding your voice, to figuring out your calling in this fight, because we need everybody. And
Right.
so activism 101, the activism growth model, was the foundational framework. And so I gave students, the first few classes was really giving them that foundational underpinning of and I kept with activism, and we started in the 60s. And I did that because we're living in the civil rights 2.0, right? And what's the difference? Technology. The revolution will be digitized. That's why I'm working on all sorts of different projects with that, guys, right? And it was just such a beautiful experience to be able to connect with students that, I mean, I would have never. They're out of the state, out of the country. And so I provided 8 weeks going through the pillars of the AGM,
Mm-hmm.
of folks really trying to figure out their calling. They got some historical underpinning of activism. I
Right.
tied the different connections to, our activist ancestors, and then brought them to real time. And at the end, students had created their own activism growth plan. They chose a particular topic, an issue, a legislation, a policy, and they went through the pillars of the AGM of how they will attack that. So I use that for my courses in their career. I
Mm-hmm.
use that for my first year experience students, or all Black students. They're using the AGM to find their calling in their career and in their Blackness. So that was, you see, I can talk about this all day, but
Mm-hmm.
that was activism 101, because it's always a new ball game, and there is a sense of just rage and despair.
Okay.
And so if both of those aren't cultivated and nurtured correctly, it can be bad outputs, right? Mind, body, and spirit. And so the AGM is a wonderful guide for folks to, and it's a workbook as well. So you can write in it. It's not just heavy
Mm-hmm.
text. It's for anybody
Mm-hmm.
named Mama. Big Mama can pick it up. The university professor can pick it up, right? And I did that intentionally, because it's about conversation. So that was the main thing with Hillman Talk, and I just had such a blast doing it. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. And they're
Yeah.
they're loving it in the chat too as well. So at this
And
time we're
I
gonna
see one of my students, Mandy. Hey, boo.
Mhm.
Okay,
at,
yeah.
at this time we're gonna switch gears. Okay, we're continuously always switching gears in these interviews. Okay, I want to tie in healthcare. Okay,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
in doing my homework, I saw that you created some content on fibromyalgia. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes,
And
yes.
I also know that you created a tool book for pain management. Okay. Before we get into that tool book, Dr. G, can you
Yes.
just briefly share with us your experience with fibromyalgia or what it is for those who don't know?
Absolutely. So I have fibromyalgia. And
Mm-hmm.
so what that is, it's a condition, like an autoimmune condition. It's known as
Right.
AKA the stress condition, right? It's not a disease, but a condition, right? There's different tiers of what things are. And it's not a disease because it does not cut your life short per se, but it can heavily impact your well-being. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's think of it's pretty much like nervous system 101 to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where depending on your wiring, how your body responds to stress or trauma or do all the above, right? If you don't have that space to work through trauma, and we know black and brown folks, particularly black folks, right, in this country, in this world, has a very special relationship with their body, right? That is
Okay.
constantly being separated, right? And so what fibromyalgia does is it really forces us to confront our bodies and listen to our bodies and respect and honor them. So it's almost like with the nervous system, with someone with fibromyalgia, have you gone to an amusement park and walked all day and just dead tired?
Mm-hmm.
You feel like that waking up sometimes. Your body's the pain receptors are not, they're on 10,
Right.
especially when you're in a flare up. And so I found that's actually how I first started. So I'm like, let me see this TikTok. Let me find some community, Black women with fibromyalgia, especially the connection to trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And epigenetics is something that has just been, woo, it's been
Right.
a topic, right, that is obviously near and dear to me. So in this journey of being a mom, right, so much life happened in one kind of year, and
Mm-hmm.
the ways in which my body has impacted, right, that, and now this beautiful journey of like figuring out what's going on, my triggers, my stressors, and really just kind of in healing.
Right.
My last really bad flare up where I just couldn't get out of bed was when Kamala lost. And
Okay.
so that is where woof, because what can you do? I couldn't get out of bed. I'm happy to report that I'm in remission because I've been able to move and exercise. Like I think I said, my classes are all around campus,
Mm-hmm.
and so that fall I'm in so much pain. And my classes, I don't have 2-3 hours in between. It's back to back, and I found myself just in a lot of pain and really not able to exude the joy that I wanted to, and not in my classroom but in life. So I said, something's got to make a change. So changing my diet, and I the holistic, they also call me hood hippie because I'm acupuncture, right,
Mm-hmm.
and somatic experiences and meditation, and that connection with some I'm linking in is neurotheology, how folks experience their God and their brain, and even like with healing. So that's how I started with sharing about fibromyalgia and having students work on different projects with that. But that's my goal, to be one of the goals when it comes to health equity,
Right.
is to try to find, if there aren't cures for certain things, it's a deeper understanding. And so when it comes to fibromyalgia, I am deeply embedded in trying to continue to find the connections of epigenetics of trauma, right,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in Black women, and how that affects different autoimmune or like stress related conditions or diseases. So it's me search.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about Dr. G's tool book for pain management as it
Yeah.
relates
Yeah.
to fibromyalgia. What is it?
Yeah.
Why did you create it?
Well, I really was trying to, it's like I said, me search, like, hey, this worked
Mm-hmm.
for me. Wasn't necessarily like, hey, this didn't work for me. So it's literally um, a toolbox, like a digital toolbox of different strategies
Okay.
different health management techniques that I have used and are currently using. That seems to be working fair. So I'm actually revamping because I'm adding a lot more with
Mhm.
particularly like with diet, because now for all of my 40s girlies, now perimenopause is a whole different layer. And so I've that's offline right now, but I'm going to add it back up with different tools, research. My students have done some research with regards to community for Black
Mhm.
women, online community for Black women with fibromyalgia online, and it's been fascinating. Even just to share my journey, Doc, and to see so many Black women comment like me too, sis. That just it breaks my heart, but it also makes me feel encouraged that there is community. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to that health equity and access. Black folks, acupuncture, what? Right? Chiropractor,
Mhm.
what? And so it's really about also breaking that stigma, because those two holistic pain management techniques have been game changers for me. And I want more Black people to know that it's okay and this is what we need. The types of pain and conflict that we have, it's deeper than the skin. So we've got to connect with our mind, body, and spirit. And there are these different modalities, right, that we've been conditioned that is white, right, or not Black. We got to bust that open. No, no, no. It's about healing. So it's just about the things I'm working, the things that's working for me, but particularly that information and access. Like, y'all, we can take care of ourselves, and we have to kick these doors open because they're not going to open it for us.
Exactly.
You know?
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that and sharing your story. Okay, I know sometimes it
Sure,
can be
sure, sure, sure.
hard, but guess what? When you are
Yeah.
sharing your story, that's a part of building community as well too. So
That's
thank you for
it.
sharing.
That's it.
Thank you for sharing your story. Staying on the topic
Yeah.
of healthcare. Okay, all
Okay.
of my interviews, I always discuss some aspect of mental health. That is a part of healthcare.
Yes.
And yes, there's specific months for mental health, but I'm a big advocate for hey, mental health needs to be discussed year round, month round. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What does Dr. G do to stay on top of her mental health overall?
That is a beautiful question, and I'm so happy I actually have answers to it. Because if
Hmm.
you would ask me that a couple years back, I don't know. So for me, I'm in this beautiful space that is seemingly high stressed,
Okay.
but
It is. It is. Not seemingly. It is. Higher education is stressful.
oh yeah. Well, I was about to say with all the hats, right?
Okay.
With
Yeah.
being a Dr. Mommy, right? Dr. Wife, and mentoring these students, like being so excited that they see the value in the activism growth model, they see the value in sports crit, right?
Hmm.
And there's this, and when you think about it, these are all things that require a great deal of energy,
Right.
a great deal of just excitement, and I have all of it, right? I have that.
Right.
However, I also, at the end of the day, when I retire, right, or write 1,000 books, so I don't have to teach anymore, I still need family, right? Family
Right.
and legacy, and just because both of my parents are no longer here, that time and legacy is something that is at the forefront of any and everything I do. Um, and so what has been really cool, obviously therapy. I got a therapist. She's a Black woman, older Black woman. She is the
Hmm.
bomb. And
Okay.
she is, and get yourself a family therapy, a family therapist, or like an intergenerational therapist,
Okay.
because marriage and family therapists are great, but also these are the folks that can ride through life with you in different stages. So
Mm-hmm.
I first started to see my therapist when my mom had just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and so grieving what that looks like. It's anticipatory grief, right?
Right.
And working through what that looks like. I have two brothers, but I'm the only girl, so then losing your mom, right? Different phases. Then your newlyweds, then your new parents. These are all different, right? Um, all different spaces coming back after the pandemic from 0 kids to 2, right? And
Hmm.
just what does that look like for your mental health and psyche? And it has been very difficult trying to find that space for me, but
Okay.
it's so necessary. So I take myself out to dates.
Hmm.
I go to the movies. My brothers and I
Hmm.
we used to go to the movies all when we were young. And I'm trying to get back with that.
Right.
So going to
Right.
the movies, therapy's great. I spend so much time. I'm a girly of faith. Just spend time just talking to God in the car, like, hey God, I'm having a day. Right.
Okay.
And so I'm having a day. Please help me. Please guide me. And being
Hmm.
at the university in the US during this time, teaching what I'm teaching, I gotta be prayed up because there's mad haters, right? Mad haters. And so kind of having that toolkit, surrounding yourself with chosen family and chosen good people.
I love
As
that.
Black people, we think that we should stay in spaces just because we share the same DNA. But in fact, they're extremely harmful spaces. So
Mm-hmm.
you cultivate your energy. The reason why this is hardcore with me, Doc, is that obviously, like when it comes to time, I'm very aware of it. My dad passed away when I was 10 of a massive heart attack, right? So here today, gone tomorrow. And then my mother had Alzheimer's, so it was on the opposite spectrum of time, and so of kind of slowly seeing it and really making the most of it. So then I said to myself, we don't really, at the whole scheme of things, we don't have a lot of time on this earth. So why
Okay.
the hell am I enjoying it or trying to with
Right.
folks that do not that fuck with your nervous system, essentially.
Right. Right.
So whatever that is, um, finding things, people, places
Mm-hmm.
that heal or really calm your nervous system down.
I
That's
love
been
that.
a game changer. And saying no is okay. Then boundaries. Black folks, just because Mima is Mima, if she's saying some crazy stuff, you have to have boundaries and put her at bay, because she gonna go to bed. She gonna put her aspirin cream on, and you gonna be driving home pissed, right? And your nervous
Right.
system's messed up.
Right.
Because Mima's going to bed. Big Mama's in bed. She doesn't, right? But you're driving home. I can't believe she said this about me or my partner or my cousin or whatever. So it's hard. That's been the biggest breakthrough for me. And I don't have no regrets so far. This year, 43, Doc, perimenopause, Doc. Woo! So those are the things that I'm actively working on. And I can say, man, healing's really cool.
I love that.
Healing's really cool. So yeah,
I love that. Thank you
that's what
for
I'm doing.
sharing that. And Dr. Henry in the chat is saying you preaching to the choir. Yeah, she's taking us to church.
Yes.
She's taking us to
Listen,
church.
it's this generation, right? I talk to my
Mm-hmm.
husband about it all the time, right? Millennials, elder millennials, we're shaking it
Mm-hmm.
up. We're shaking up
You
parenting.
have to.
We are not doing the same thing. My little boy, my little girl, they listen, they are passionate. They ask questions and we give them,
Mm-hmm.
this is why we're doing this, right? We were never in the school of thought of shut up, children should be, no, for what,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where are they going to cultivate their voice and find themselves if
Right.
they can't question safely? But anyway, but I just feel like this is such a precious time to be alive. And for those of us that are parents or caretakers in some way, that we
Mm-hmm.
really have the power and the autonomy to cultivate our own life. And if
Exactly.
that means protecting ourselves against kind of old regimes,
Okay.
then we have to do it, y'all. We really do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so now speaking of old regimes, okay,
Yes.
um, this administration, I don't like to
Ciao.
talk too much. Hold on, it's asking me to, I'm also here. Hold on. Okay, so I
Go
don't
ahead.
like to get too political, but we like to have healthy conversations,
We
and
have to. Yeah.
we know how to address them appropriately. Okay, so you do lots of activism work. You are a published author, and you are a Black woman in higher education. Okay,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
how has this current administration affected the work that you do, or what effects do you see it
Yeah.
can um,
Oh yeah.
potentially affect long term wise?
So I got to shake it out because I'm like, ugh.
Hmm.
So for me, so I am working on my second book, teaching the tough plays, a sports crit pedagogy
Hmm.
for equity in sports education. Right.
Hmm.
I had funding to write that book. I had two separate independent researcher
Okay.
grants
Okay.
that, you go through different phases. I was right at the end. It was like a provisional acceptance, right? And then the new administration hit and then it was archived. And then the
Hmm.
other one said, you no longer fit the criteria.
Hmm.
So it has impacted me personally, because editing, revision, all of that costs money, and
Yes.
so we're going to do grassroots. It's all good, but me and my just ability to move forward in my scholarship, it's impacted me. The particular program that I'm a part of that I teach our first year students, our Black first year students,
Hmm.
that program is most likely going to, we're not sure what it's going to be, but it's very specific in the needs of Black students.
Okay.
And that is something I'm working through, like with my rage, because It's so beautiful to be able to sit in a classroom with all these brilliant Black babies, right?
Right.
And they are appreciative of this space where they can just be. You had your jams on. I have music on in every class, but for that class, we know what time it is, right? There's a safe space of even the type of music. All the guest speakers are folks from across campus who are Black. You can't be what you can't see. So to know that this program is in jeopardy, um, it enrages me, right? And so just another ways that we're just gonna have to pivot. And that was another thing of Black Faculty Forward that really one of the other another reason that why I wanted to birth that, right? Um, then that particular program we had filled out. We did this giant grant. My colleague, I am one of two Black female tenure professors in our College of Science, the entire College of Science, right? So we worked on a really big grant to continue this program. And when I tell you my colleague and friend busted her ass on it, so I'm pissed, but I'm more heartbroken for her because of all the work that she did. And then that grant, right there. There's been this washing of information on websites. Literally, I think of Black codes where if there's 2 or 3 or more Black students on the website, they're wiping it, or Latinx kids or Asian kids, but they're targeting the Black and brown kids. So if you look on our website, it does look very Disneyland, very diverse, but what's wiped out is the visuals of the students, right, and those groups and the cultural groups. So I'm not just going to say just for our Black students. It's for all of our cultural groups. So really, growing up and being raised in student affairs and seeing the strategy of what they're attempting to do, it's heartbreaking. But once again, this is the Civil Rights 2.0, right? And I think about our ancestors that were getting hosed, our ancestors that were college kids at these lunch counter sit-ins, and they could have easily said, I'm out. This is some bull. I'm out. Right. So now are we going to? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think of my dad in particular. My dad was a former member of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And what breaks my heart is the conversations that we could have had. But I'm living through him. So I got a little bit more, I got some protection, but honestly, it has been heartbreaking. It's been extremely difficult, but we just have to go back to the drawing board and just be strategic. Once again, if they were able to organize the Montgomery bus boycott, nobody had cell phones. Nobody was like, hey, text Jazz and be at the bus stop. If they can do that so beautifully, and we have the TikToks and we have all the things, let's go. So the thing about it is anytime this happens, we just get even more brilliant. I want everybody on TikTok to Google all the brilliant things that Black people and brown people and Latinx people and Asian people and indigenous people did during Trump's first term. And we didn't even know what he was all about. Now we know what he's on. So let's go. So that is how it has impacted me, but I'm still writing. I've got the podcast. I'm going to do something. It's called Open Gym. So it's an open access. I'm going to almost like night school, right? Because they will not take this away. They will not. I will just continue to teach. Everyone is looking for a place to find themselves in this fight. Most folks. And if I can be someone that can help them and guide them to where they feel free and where they're thriving, I will never stop because our ancestors did it. I'm here because of them. And so who knows what we're doing now, what it's going to do for the babies that are coming behind us.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just got 2 more questions for you, okay?
Sure.
Staying on this topic, right? For me, my dissertation was cultural competency for healthcare professionals, okay?
Ooh,
however,
yes.
I live in Florida. I can't teach cultural competency. I can't teach diversity. We can't teach. There's certain key terms that our governor has blocked in the Department of Education.
You in Florida, Doc. Oh my God.
Now that's a higher ed side. Now, as it relates to the healthcare side, patients are afraid to come into large healthcare organizations because they're afraid if ICE might be waiting for them. Now they're forcing healthcare professionals to ask, are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a resident? Are you an alien? Okay. So I say all that to say, what advice would you give those who are interested in either higher education or interested in healthcare or interested in activism
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Given the light that is happening right now, given all of the negative that is happening right now, I always tell people, hey, higher education is still great. Hey, healthcare is still amazing. It's still a rewarding field. What
Yeah.
would you say to somebody who's kind of apprehensive because they see what's going on, but then they still want to work towards their calling?
Well, I mean, that's a beautiful thing, Doc, because you said it beautifully, is they see what's going on.
Right.
Even even someone that has had privilege of not really paying attention,
Okay.
the ways in which things are being so swiftly dismantled, it's everywhere. No
Okay.
matter what your algorithm look like, someone
Right.
is talking about it. Depending on their lens or their view, may be different, but it's everywhere.
Right.
4, 5, 6 years ago, it would be certain things like, did he really say that? Did they?
Mm-hmm.
But they have built an entire cabinet and a system of cronies and of folks that they know where the dead bodies are. I don't know, right? Or it's just they have drank it and finally digested white supremacy and they're here for it. Because the system of education is built perfectly as how they wanted it to be built.
Right.
I always start off with so it's that knowledge. I always start off with students where I ask them, like, I give them the definition of what a system is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we always say, hey, we have to start to integrate and dismantle the system, not the
Mm-hmm.
person first, right? We have to understand the system that's happening so we can understand why certain individuals have been historically benefiting from these type of privileges and how certain groups have been historically silenced, oppressed, etc. So for those folks that see what's going on but that may feel stuck, I really want them to listen to their inner compass as to why this is upsetting them, right? Why
Mm-hmm.
they see it, and why, and because they see that something's wrong, something's ajar, it's not equitable. Tell them to lean into the fact that that's where we need you,
Right.
because they still have a conscience of this isn't, why is it? Black people, white people, Latinx, Asian, indigenous, what? Why are certain groups, receiving these types of health care? Even
Right.
back in COVID, there are certain cities and states and whatnot where didn't receive a vaccine. There were no vaccines close to it. So I also asked them to look into the social determinants of health.
Mm-hmm.
So what in my contemporary issues of human movement class, as we speak, is students are creating a wellness complex
Okay.
based on the social determinants of health.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and as for folks, the social determinants of health these are factors, non-medical factors that can impact someone receiving medical care, right? Economic, social, cultural, if it's community, right? Is it access, things along those lines. I think the more folks are equipped with that knowledge of the inequalities, it's going to fire them up even more.
Right.
And for folks that have this knowledge and can't teach it, that's why platforms like this is important, because we have to get the information out. That is what has been so, that's what's so unique about the time that we're living in, is
Okay.
although they are trying to censor us in so many ways, platforms like this, YouTube, even your own stuff, right? Your own website, you've got to get the information out there because the truth is being mad distorted.
Right.
And then lastly, linking up with folks like us that can give folks opportunities to share their scholarship and to share their research. So that'll be another piece of like Black Faculty Forward, either
Mm-hmm.
webinars, but ultimately it's something to add to portfolio. So especially when it comes to higher ed and health equity, we need y'all like no one's business. I'm thinking of my babies. My babies need y'all. So
Right.
yeah, that's something I would offer those that are thinking about entering that space.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Well,
You're welcome.
to wrap up all of my interviews, I ask all of my guests the same last question, this final question.
Okay.
Okay, what is your overall why, as it relates to the work that you do, as it relates to you being
Whew.
an activist, you being an author, you being a professor,
My
you
why?
being a Black woman in higher education? What is Dr. G's overall why? I see y'all coming on in. I see you, Jacquel. Welcome on in. Her Divine Alchemy, welcome on in. We're just wrapping up our interview with Dr. G. She's about to share with us her powerful overall.
Yeah. Well, I love these types of answers because there's never a right or wrong. It's like you're really tugging at our heartstrings. As I've been like creating Sports Crit, you really have to sit with like your why. Like, why are you doing this,
Right,
right? And a pedagogy is almost the art and the science of a professor's why.
right,
It's their teaching philosophy in the flesh. Blah blah blah. Right. But for me, it's multi-layered because I think about my parents. So Sports Crit is a love letter to them. My
Mm-hmm.
mother was an educator, 35 years, 37
Mm-hmm.
years, Los Angeles Unified School District, nothing but Black and Latinx babies. So her form of advocacy and liberation and activism was through teaching. That's the
Okay.
pedagogy part of her heart. The ways in which it makes me think of even my mom's funeral. I let them know her old school where she taught. And when I tell you, Doc, the outpourings of messages of how my
Mm-hmm.
mom impacted students. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that passion, it's that love for that liberation. That's that piece, honoring mom. Then the activism.
Right.
Okay. It's honoring my daddy. And it's at the depths of the core of like, wow, he's guiding me because these are
Mm-hmm.
conversations we didn't get to have.
Mm-hmm.
When I was
Mm-hmm.
growing up, oh, you your daddy's daughter, right?
Right.
But because he had passed on, there's this longing for like, well, what you mean by that? The more I get to know myself and know I'm not like a lot of my family members, that. And so what I do is one to honor my parents, honor our activist ancestors, but also like holding that space that we're in is like we're low-key time travelers because we're
Okay.
honoring our past, and because we got somewhat of a good education, at least like civics, right? We
Mm-hmm.
understand the workings of democracy, we understand that, but then we're also in this space of like, okay, we are living in some history,
Right.
but also trying to rest as a resistance.
Right.
Okay. And then thinking about the damage that is done,
Right.
right, as we're walking through it. And so it's like multi layered, honoring my family, my ancestors, my legacy, but also actively resisting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to be a part of a solution of a better future, not just for my kids, but all these wonderful students that I'm blessed to be able to cultivate. I mean, I'm also cultivating some scholar activists, some scholar agitators. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I mean, yo, that's all you can ask for. So
I
those are
love
kind of the layers of my why. And that's why even though I'm dog tired most days, when I get in that
it. Mm-hmm.
classroom or if I'm doing some sports crit, I'm like, yo, I'm in my calling. So I would
Right.
have to say those are that. Yeah, that's my why. And I forgot. I'm sure folks will say on the chat. I believe it's a Japanese saying, but it's pretty much honoring the light through the broken cracks,
I love that.
right? I think it's
Mm-hmm.
he knew someone will give me the correct, but it's always you see the visual. It's this beautiful bowl and it has
Mm-hmm.
multiple cracks in it, but it's lined with gold to show
Mm-hmm.
that your experience, your brokenness is not that, but that is where the light comes through. That is
Right.
where your brokenness is seen as a compass. And
Right.
so I think once we realize that our brokenness is not a badge of disdain or whatnot, it's a badge of honor, and like we will prevail, we will overcome. Boom.
I love
That's all
that.
I got. I feel my mouth is dry. I've been
I
talking so
love that.
much.
Thank you so much. I love that. Dr. G, thank you so much for taking the time to step into office hours with Dr. Johnson. Yes, my moderator said all of my interviews are uploaded onto YouTube. So if you want this video, if you want to rewatch it, I'll let you know once it's posted. But
Okay.
Dr. G, this was impactful. This was amazing. I want to thank you for your time. I know you are busy. Y'all know she is busy. Y'all heard
I'm going
her.
to get these kids. I'm going to get these kids from daycare. Hey, if I don't get them by 6:30, they're going. It's $5 a minute.
Oh
Can we
wow.
bring me back on to talk about childcare and that ridiculous amount?
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. I'll make a note of
in
that
the
because
U.S., I will be more than
yeah.
happy to come back and talk about the
Okay.
ridiculousness of
Well,
that.
I do my office hours weekly on Tuesdays, but I do host monthly conferences. So next month in
Okay,
October, I'm hosting a holistic approach masterclass. And
love that.
once a month I'll be hosting a conference. So I'll definitely reach out to you and we could discuss
Yeah.
what panel you want to be on. Okay.
Anything, I'm appreciative to be able to just link up with dope folks like
Perfect.
yourself. And I mean, there's not a lot of black docs, so
Right.
anytime I
Yeah.
can help serve and bring community, it's my pleasure. So I just
I love
appreciate
that.
y'all thinking of me and checking me out on all the things, all the socials, and TikTok, and stay tuned for some really good things for the Sports Crit Lab podcast, and then for
Okay.
teaching the tough place. So good things cooking.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. G. Enjoy the rest of your day and please stay
Thanks,
connected with me.
y'all.
Let me
Thank
disconnect
y'all.
you.
Okay.
Okay, y'all, just a round of applause. Did y'all enjoy that interview? Did you guys enjoy that interview? Let me just get a couple rounds of applause in the chat. Did you guys enjoy that interview? Let me just get 2 or 3 people. Just round of applause. Excellent, perfect. Right, exactly. We are gonna slide on over now. We're gonna slide. This portion is called Professor Tips. Okay, I see you guys. I see you. Rocky, welcome on in. We're in Professor Tips now. We're wrapping up today's office hours with Professor Tips. The Professor Tips for today. I just want to brief. I've held y'all for an hour, and I just wanted to shout out to all y'all who stayed locked in with me and Dr. G for that past hour. But she had some great information to share. But the Professor Tips I want to leave you guys with. Today is the last day of September. Today is September 30th, right? Yeah, today is September 30th, okay? Tomorrow is October 1st. So the Professor Tips I want to share with you guys today, that I want to leave with you all today. Thank you so much. It was great. I see you all in the chat. I see y'all communicating. I see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The Professor Tips I want to leave you guys with today is the awareness month and all of the different awarenesses that October entails. Okay, so as we all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Okay, that's big, that's important. We all know somebody who has been affected with breast cancer. And shout out to Vibe Wellness. You came in late, but guess what? You still showed up on time. And thank you for grabbing a daily heartbeat. And thank you for supporting. And everybody in the chat, you all know that Vibe Wellness is on my panel for next month. I'm so looking forward to her. I love her content. She is amazing. And I'm so appreciative of her. And I'm so appreciative that I connected with Vibe Wellness. Janae, I see you. Thank you so much for being a title gifter. I see. Okay, y'all distracted me. Let me just stay on task. Y'all distracted me. October, the Professor Tips. I'm leaving you all with Dr. Henry too. Shout out to Dr. Henry. You stayed here the whole time. Shout out to you, ma'am. I appreciate you. I'm going to be connected with you. We're going to talk about some things. Okay, Dr. Henry, I'll see you. Reminder, live goal at the top. Janae, thank you so much. I'll see you. Okay, y'all are distracting me. I'm getting excited. Professor Tips I want to leave y'all with today. All of the awarenesses that October entails. Okay, the first one is breast cancer awareness. Howdy, howdy. I see you. I can't see the name. It's so Forgiven Mountain Mama. I see you, Forgiven Mountain Mama. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome on in. We're just about to wrap up. I see you. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We all know somebody who's been affected with breast cancer. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental Health Awareness Month is not only in May, it's also in October. So Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's a couple others that I want to highlight, that I want to share with you all. It is also the National Bullying Prevention Month. October is also the National Bullying Prevention Month. Okay? Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it focuses on early detection, treatment, and research for breast cancer. Mental Health Awareness Month aims to increase understanding and reduce stereotypes surrounding mental health. It is also the National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and we want to make sure we are consistently and continuously raising awareness about the achievements and contributions of people with Down syndrome. So my Professor Tips for you all, as we are entering into the month of October, let's give back. Let's do some research as it relates to breast cancer, as it relates to Mental Health Awareness Month, as it relates to National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and as it relates to National Bullying Prevention Month. And also, yes, I didn't want to mention it too as well because I already had too many big words at the beginning, but it is also domestic, whatever, y'all got me, F1 in the chat. It is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Yeah, in the beginning of the live, I kept that same energy and I was saying all those words that I know could get me flagged. I'm going to say it too. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I wasn't going to say it towards the end because I didn't want to. Thank you. I see y'all supporting me in the chat. F1 in the chat. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. F1 in the chat, okay? If I'm going to highlight it, let me just be transparent with y'all and just highlight it and y'all going to hold me down. It's Down Syndrome Awareness Month. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So my Professor tip for you all is today, get involved. Get active in those organizations that support those awarenesses, that support those diseases or support those illnesses or support those issues, okay? Get involved. I appreciate you. Dr. Brooke, I see you. I see you, Dr. Brooke. Welcome on in. We're just wrapping up. Once again, my Professor tip for you all, get involved in what October stands for. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. October is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month. October is also National Bullying Prevention Month. Get involved with those organizations. How can you help? Dr. Candace, thank you for your daily harmony. I see you. Okay, y'all. Once again, thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you so much for sticking with the kid. Thank you so much for supporting me, you all. Thank you continuously. All 14 of y'all, 15 of y'all, I see y'all. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for this supporting me and constantly showing up for me, okay? Dr. Michelle Henry, I see you. Janae, I see you. Mandy, I see you. Dr. Brooke, I see you. Dr. Brooke, I actually got to message you. We have to talk about something that I got going on, okay? Once again, I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for stopping by Office Hours with Dr. Johnson. Blessed Believer, I see you. You've been here from the beginning. Blessed Believer, I see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Also, I do want to share. Y'all do know I do my office hours. Jackwell, I always got my tunes going. I do my office hours every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? However, I am starting a conference once a month, every single month. Until I'm done with TikTok, I'm going to have a conference once a month. There's so much information that I have to share with you all. There's so much resources for you all to receive. There's so much gems for you all to receive. There is so many great people on this app for you all to connect with, okay? Yes, people say social media has their downside and their downfall and it can be so bad. I want to come on here and show y'all how good social media can be and what connections and community you guys can build. Okay? So once a month, I will be doing a conference with a specific panel, with a specific theme, discussing various trending topics, okay? Come October 15th at 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m., it is the Holistic Approach Masterclass. The Holistic Approach Masterclass will be October 15th with 3 amazing ladies, 3 amazing subject matter experts within the field of herbalism and plant medicine. Make sure y'all are there. Okay? Oh, no, that's too much. Deuces in the chat. We out. Deuces in the chat. Taylor, I see you. Deuces in the chat. Thank you so much for joining Office Hours with Dr. Johnson. I'm out. Yo, I'm tired. My mouth is dry too. Bye, y'all. Did I miss anybody in the chat? Taylor, I see you liking the live. I'm just wrapping up, Taylor. I'm done. Jaquel, I'll see you later. Taylor, I'll see you later. Blessed Believer, have a good one. Y'all, the people that are blowing up my phone because I'm on Do Not Disturb. I gotta go, y'all. Okay. I'm coming. Good night, y'all. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, y'all. Right? Just let the music play, right? The tune is good, right? I gotta go, y'all. They calling me. I gotta go. Need a lot of in my hey. I gotta go because this whole time I've been professional with y'all, and now all of a sudden I'm trying to bust it down into. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta keep it. I got Jacole. I'm trying to keep it professional, y'all. Have a great night. Have a blessed night, y'all. Stay positive, stay productive, and always stay in peace. Have a good night.